In order to apply our data to an AI algorithm, we need to load and pre-process the data. Therefore, in this video, we will take a look at how to load and pre-process data in Jupyter Notebook. In this AI course, we are going to use the iris dataset. It consists of 150 data points, with 50 samples for each of the 3 species, Setosa, versicolor, and virginica. The dataset includes the width and length of the sepal and petal for each species. The iris dataset is widely used as an introductory dataset for AI, particularly for classification tasks. You can easily find examples of this dataset on the internet. As shown in the slide, the iris dataset is composed of 5 columns and 150 rows. Since our goal is to build an AI model that predicts the species based on the width and length of the sepals and petals, we can set the width and length information as the X values, while the species information becomes the Y value. Since the species names are in word format, we need to convert them into numerical values for the computer to recognize. In this case, each species has been assigned the numbers 0, 1, and 2. If you want to use your own dataset instead of the iris dataset, you can compare it to the iris dataset and set up your X and Y values accordingly. For example, if you have 4 samples named A, B, C, and D, and you have analyzed their characteristics, you can set the feature columns as X and the sample names column as Y. Now let's take a look at the process of loading the iris dataset in Jupyter Notebook. First, open Jupyter Notebook and create a new window. Then, import the NumPy and Pandas libraries. For your information, Pandas is used for data manipulation, while NumPy is necessary for numerical computations. Since they are not included by default when you install Python, you need to import them before the use. If you encounter an error saying that Pandas or NumPy is not found, you can install them by running the command pip install pandas and pip install numpy respectively. After importing the Pandas and NumPy libraries, we need to load the iris dataset Excel file. When indicating the folder name of the iris Excel file, make sure to use 2 backslashes instead of 1. If you encounter an error saying that the OpenPixel module is missing when loading the Excel file, you can install it using the command pip install OpenPixel. Remember that if you encounter an error saying that a module is missing when importing a library, you can use the command pip install, followed by the module name to install it. Continuing on, we assign the loaded iris dataset to a variable named df, so that we can use it throughout our Python code. The equal sign in Python means assigning the value on the right side to the variable on the left side. For example, in this case, the number 1 is assigned to the variable a. And if there are 2 equal signs, it means a is equal to 1. When we use the head command, it shows the first 5 rows of the dataset. Similarly, the tail command shows the last 5 rows. If you put a hash character in front of a line, it won't be executed. If you remove the hash character, the line will be executed. Additionally, the shape command shows the number of rows and columns in the loaded Excel file. In our case, the iris dataset has 150 rows and 5 columns, so we can confirm that we have successfully loaded the dataset. When we load the Excel file, it is saved in a format called a data frame. To speed up calculations, we convert it into an array format. The structure of creating an AI model involves training a model using both X and Y data, and then validating the model by using new X and Y data. To do this, we need to specify which area of the loaded Excel file will be used as X, and which area will be used as Y. Here, the comma separates the rows of the dataset on the left and the columns on the right. When there is only a colon without numbers, it means selecting all. In this case, we select all rows, and for the columns, it is specified as 0:-1, which means selecting from the first column up to the second to last column. It's important to note that the number after the colon doesn't include the column it refers to. An interesting thing about Python is that it counts numbers starting from 0. When counting from the left, it goes like 0, 1, 2, and when counting from the end, it goes like -1, -2, -3. Therefore, the meaning of 0:-1 is to start from the 0th column, which is the first column, and select up to the column before the -1 the column, which is the last column before the end. So the meaning of selecting 0:-1 for X data is that we select the features of petal and sepal width and length for the X data, and for Y data, it is specified as :-1, which means selecting all rows and the last column as the Y data. Therefore, we can see that the X data contains information about the width and length of the petals and sepals, while the Y data contains information about the species. As mentioned in the previous video, for an AI model, the data is divided into training and testing data, and the model trained on the training data is validated using the testing data. To do this, we split the data into training and testing sets. We can easily achieve this using the train test split library, where we input a number to determine the ratio. For example, a value of 0.2 means splitting the data into 80% for training and 20% for testing. The len command here is used to determine the number of data points. For an example, there are 5 data points represented by the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. By using the len command, we can confirm that there are 5 data points. In the case of the iris dataset, which contains 150 data points, it is divided into 120 for training and 30 for testing. In the next video, we will apply the training and testing data to an AI classification model.